Okay, here we go. We have exclusive audio of Sean Goode reading his messages with regard to this report. There you go. Meatball Michael Morrissey knew back in 2025, yet he failed to take any action, and more importantly, probably never fully disclosed all of these problematic text messages to Karen Reed.
And the best part, it's not like we are sending pics of Kate Upton's enormous floppers. So I did what I had to do, headbutted her, and then stood over her and screamed "United" and clapped 3 times.
Ms. McCabe is the sister-in-law of the homeowner, so she would be a friendly face to knock at the door at 6 o'clock in the morning in a blizzard.
And who wouldn't want to be woken to that sweet angel's face of Jen McCabe? Jen!
Had an incident when I had my photos playing on my big screen, and all of a sudden the photo of the fat kid fingering the girl making out with the blonde kid showed up on my 55-inch LED. That went over like a fart in church.
Yeah, dummy, that's your job in solving a crime. The people that committed the crime aren't going to tell you that they did it. It's up to you to figure out how it was done, starting with investigating the entire property, including inside the house.
D-E-V-E-R.
D-E-V-E-R. I'm here to tell the truth. I cannot lie while sitting on this stand.
Uh-oh, apparently Sean Goode had his phone connected to his big screen TV, and the screen displayed what was on his phone, what appears to be potentially either pornographic pictures or maybe even pictures from underage kids, as he described here.
What kind of relationship? A buddy-buddy relationship?
The same thing everybody wants, a real relationship.
A romantic relationship, Mr. Higgins?
It's possible.
Right.
Everywhere I looked, there was monkeys running around.
There he is, former trooper Michael Proctor. He's at the center of the big meeting that Judge Gilday called of the heads of the 5 families. All the major players were summoned to Judge Gilday's court today at 3:30 to explain how and why Michael Proctor's private medical information was leaked. We'll cover that as soon as it's done. However, today we're getting into Officer Sean Goode, the former Canton police officer who had a report done by an independent company analyzing his job performance and whether or not he should be terminated, disciplined, or perhaps even given a raise. Let's watch.
Sean Goode, G-O-O-D-E.
How are you employed, sir?
At the Canton Police Department. Midnight sergeant and 2 days patrol traffic.
The consulting firm MJ Myers was hired to do an analysis of Sean Goode's work performance, and they just so happened to get their hands on, 200,000 text messages between Sean Goode, Michael Proctor,
Cunt.
and various other people. They're tasked with actually determining whether or not Sean Goode's conduct violated any of the Canton police rules and regulations, and if he should be terminated, disciplined, or just left alone. Let's look at the report together. On October 24th, 2025, Interim Police Chief Joe Perkins recalled that Perkins took over at the Canton station after Chief Berkowitz went MIA, and the chief was informed by the Norfolk District Attorney's Office of concerning and problematic text messages potentially demonstrating bias uncovered during the investigation. Potentially demonstrating bias?
And Frank's a lying cunt.
I want to know which one of these dopes wrote that. After you read and see and hear what Sean Goode was writing, how can you say potentially? Okay, let's look at the summary. On October 24th, 2025, through conversations with Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey, Chief Perkins was made aware of concerning and problematic text messages. There you go. Meatball Michael Morrissey knew back in 2025, yet he failed to take any action, and more importantly, probably never fully disclosed all of these problematic text messages to Karen Reed. It goes on to state that Chief Perkins was actually presented with the text messages relating to Sean Goode, and we know, according to Corey Hopkins, Chief Perkins was a sweetheart. However, once you obtain these types of messages, you need to terminate that person straight away. There should be no hesitation. He should not get what he did receive, about 6 to 7 months of paid vacation doing absolutely nothing. Check this out. On December 10th, 2025, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office provided the town with over 200,000 text messages, photos, voice notes, videos, and memes dating back as far as 2013. And we saw some of those with regard to Michael Proctor when he was communicating with Sean Goode. However, in this report, which we are going to review today, there are many other messages sent by old Officer former officer Sean Goode, which we're about to review. I've worked with these consulting firms before when they're investigating a problematic employee. One of the cool things they do is they actually ask the employee to write down exactly what they did. Now, of course, the employee doesn't know what the consulting firm knows, so it's always fun to read what the employee thinks they did, and that's what they did here with Sean Goode. Let's see what Sean Goode decided he did wrong. He wrote there were messages between Mr. Proctor, myself, and 5 other friends from the period between June 2020 to October 2023. I was not able to recover earlier messages. Don't worry, Michael Proctor saved them all. I did not review every message in the thread and limited my focus to the messages I had authored. My messages in the thread were primarily related to my personal political views and opinions, i.e. Trump Biden. I told you this was going to be funny, and it always is. No one ever fully wants to disclose exactly what they did, but Sean Goode claiming that his text messages were related strictly to his political views relating to Trump and Biden is absolutely false, but it is hilarious. The report indicated 3 types of messages that were sent. The first was a group chat including Sean Goode, which contained messages from August 2019 to October 2023. There were 8 total participants in the group, and it was originally created to discuss the group's fantasy football league. I don't know if that's exactly true. We heard about all the fantasies Michael Proctor had with regard to black men.
I went to this cobble to have my asshole stretched so I could fit Black Hog in it, and asked if they do boots too.
And Sean Goode was definitely complacent. The second group chat included Sean Goode containing messages from March 2015 through July 2021. There are two participants in the group. And the third group chat that included Sean Goode contained messages from April of 2013. Through March of 2022. There are 10 participants in the group. The participants in this group designated it party boys. You might as well have designated it white boys or white supremacist boys, but party boys?
Was on a detail till 2:30 and couldn't sleep through the heavy rain.
Okay, here we go. We have exclusive audio of Sean Goode reading his messages with regard to this report.
I love rain when in bed, but not on my cruiser hood and roof. Wait aloud.
Apparently, Sean Goode found it hard to sleep while he was working when it was raining because it was too loud.
A couple years ago, we had an amended robbery on 138, and the description came out, and we stopped them in Stoughton, but we didn't have any evidence, but it was them. I had redacted in cuffs on the ground crying. All right, boys, I'm going to try and keep party boys informed of the Gong Show tonight. Getting deployed to Quincy at 4 p.m. to start. I know it's a Tuesday night, but tell your parents and wives don't go out shopping tonight to Westwood Station or Cobb's Corner. No intel, but it was crazy quite last night in town. But Braintree, Natick, and Wrentham, with MSP and other locals, chased convoys of cars all night out of town. Then they arrived in Providence, and they got bottlenecked in front of the Providence Place Mall, and the cops gassed the fuck out of them and arrested over 60. Party Boys sobriety checkpoint on 138 by the trail side tonight. Please stay away tonight. Can't help you if you get caught. Too many troopers in Milton Pa.
Sean Goode's contribution to the Party Boys group chat was often informing the group where and when sobriety point checks were. Therefore, when they're all drinking and driving at night, they can be avoided.
I think he should have to bribe us with gifts, beers. Sergeant Goode shares a RMV photo of young man he pulled over, describes him as a tub of shit, explains he couldn't give him a ticket because God already fucked him for life, referring to man's image, says he was guilty of driving fat and ugly.
Chief Perkins was 100% right. Sean Goode was hilariously crude here.
Sergeant Goode runs license plates for redacted of a girl that works at his job, referred to as 25 Yo Smoke.
Despite his wife Lisa having amazing cans, Sean Goode is utilizing town resources to investigate and research 25-year-old hotties, probably for his friend.
Sergeant Goode runs license plates for redacted, states he is a nobody. Haha, can't wait to look this cunt up tonight at work. What a cunt. Our team name is Busta Hyman and the Penetrators. My favorite was Too Husky for Sandusky. And how about the cunt stating, when have you ever done the easy way? Did she forget he robbed 6-year-olds all summer for his pill habit? I feel that's the easy way. And I just finished Green Street Hooligans. At the end, she says, this movie is too violent and stupid. So I did what I had to do. Headbutted her and then stood over her and screamed united and clapped 3 times. She is such a pussy. So frustrating. And the best part, it's not like we are sending pics of Kate Upton's enormous floppers. We are sending shit pics. Also, for the boys that have Apple TV, make sure you turn off photo stream. Had an incident when I had my photos playing on my big screen, and all of a sudden the photo of the fat kid fingering the girl making out with the blonde kid showed up on my 55-inch LED. That went over like a fart in church.
Uh-oh, apparently Sean Goode had his phone connected to his big screen TV, and the screen displayed what was on his phone, what appears to be potentially either pornographic pictures or maybe even pictures from underage kids, as he described here, which he potentially obtained from other officers assigned to that particular case.
Well, I enjoy tongue punching your mother's fart locker while your sisters are gurgling my balls. Okay, if you could blow yourself, would you? Dude, I remember coming back from Great Woods, sitting in the back seat, and had redacted friend in the way back a truck, and she started blowing him, and the whole truck smelled of sweaty ball sack. It was one of those 90-degree all day drinking tailgating days. Fucking gross. Of course, redacted, your mom was riding shotgun on my cock whole way home. So you enjoyed jizz on your sandwiches?
Special thanks to Sean Goode for providing that audio. Of course, that is only a small sample of what Sean Goode was actually communicating with the party boys and Michael Proctor. After reviewing all of that, this company, MJ Myers, whoever the hell they are, was tasked with determining whether or not Sean Goode violated any of the town's terms with regard to his employment, and they had to make a recommendation with regard to his future employment. Let's see what they recommended. While the several serious rules and policy violations found here would generally lead to a recommendation of discipline up to and including termination. Up to and including? What the hell do you have to do in Canton to get fired straight away? Sergeant Goode resigned from his employment with the town on June 2nd, 2026. As such, no further action is required beyond this disposition being reported to the Peace Officer Safety and Training Commission. Well, there you go. MJ Myers and Consulting would have recommended potentially discipline up to termination, which clearly would have been the right thing to do. However, old Sean Goode pulled a fast one, resigned, most likely retaining any type of retirement benefits that he accrued. Smart move by Sean Goode.
Now, when you left Canton Police Station to respond to Fairview, who, if anyone, assumed your role as far as manning the dispatch area in the 911?
Now that we know who Sean Goode really is, let's go back and analyze some of his testimony that will be very critical to Karen Reed and Aiden Carney's cases going forward.
That'd be Officer Dever. D-E-V-E-R.
D-E-V-E-R.
Oh, how the times have changed. Remember when everyone hated Officer Dever?
I'm here to tell the truth. I cannot lie while sitting on this stand.
After she testified at the second trial. However, we heard the audio from her actions on that very morning, and she was very diligent, perhaps the most diligent officer Canton has ever had. And here we have video of Sean Goode arriving at 34 Fairview at 6:15 in the morning.
At some point when you're speaking with Officer Saraf, does he direct your attention to where Officer O'Keefe was prior to being placed in the ambulance?
Yes, if you're looking at the house, it'd be left-hand side, probably right in front of the flagpole.
That's very critical information because it places John on the property at 34 Fairview, which naturally would lead any responding officers to go inside the house and check around the house for any potential evidence.
Where, if anywhere, did you and Detective Sergeant Lang go on scene?
So when we were waiting for the fire truck to arrive, we noticed that the lights went on at 34 Fairview. We needed to obviously speak to the homeowners. I told Sergeant Lank at the time, I believe he was on the phone with CPAC for the state police. I said, the lights just went on the front door. Let's go speak to the homeowners. And we both walked in.
You actually physically walked into the house, is that correct?
Yes.
Prior to you seeing sort of the house lights go on at 34 Fairview, had you seen anybody go into or out of that residence while you were there?
Yes. At some point, either myself or Sergeant Lank told Miss McCabe that she needs to wake up the homeowners. We need to speak with them.
We know that Jen McCabe was the first person to enter 34 Fairview after Brian Albert placed John O'Keefe on the front lawn near the flagpole. This was approximately 6:15 in the morning.
And why did you say that specifically to Miss McCabe?
We have no idea why John O'Keefe is laying on the front lawn of a house. We have no idea. The statements from the three people We need to figure out what happened that night.
Yeah, dummy, that's your job in solving a crime. The people that committed the crime aren't going to tell you that they did it. It's up to you to figure out how it was done, starting with investigating the entire property, including inside the house.
And so I guess my question is more, why Miss McCabe versus somebody else?
Miss McCabe is the sister-in-law of the homeowner, so she would be a friendly face to knock at the door at 6 o'clock in the morning in a blizzard.
And who wouldn't want to be woken to that sweet angel's face of Jen McCabe? Jen!
You and Detective Sergeant Lank go into the home at 34 Fairview, and who, if anyone, did you speak to in there?
Mr. Albert, Mrs. Albert, Brian, and Nicole.
Who, if anyone else, was present in the home when you spoke with them?
When I was in there, I know Jen was in there, but we didn't speak to her because we already spoke to her, but we just spoke to Brian and Nicole right in the front room.
Did you know Brian Albert, or were you aware of who he was prior to going to the house that day?
I know of Brian Albert, yes.
And how did you know him?
He's a brother of a coworker that I've worked with for 18 years.
And the co-worker that you worked with for 18 years, who's that?
Detective Albert.
What's his first name?
Kevin.
Kevin Albert may be the missing link in this case because we've never heard from him. Obviously, he's related to Brian Albert.
Yes.
He grew up in that house, and he's the bond between all of these cops with regard to the investigation.
Detective Lang took the lead on speaking to Brian and Nicole Albert, and I kind of just moseyed in the front of the house, looked in the dining room, listened to what they said, what happened. They seemed like they were generally in shock that there was a...
Objection.
Sustained. Next question, please.
What, if anything, did you observe about their demeanor when you spoke?
They looked like they just got woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
What amazing police work by Sean Goode. A man is found dead on the front lawn, and he just moseys about the dining room in the house. Great job.
And what, if anything, of note did you observe inside the house when you did that?
Nothing. Everything to be in order. It seemed like a normal house. Gallagher immediately said we need to seal off the area of where Officer Keith was located. We grabbed some crime scene tape, put around. He wanted to photograph the area as well.
Who, if anyone, grabbed the crime scene tape?
Myself.
And what, if anything, did you do with it?
I wrapped it around probably the flagpole, tree, and cruiser. It was hard to keep up just because the wind was blowing at such a good rate.
And then what, if anything, did you and the other officers do with respect to the area that was identified to you as where Mr. O'Keefe was on Officer Sarah's right?
Lieutenant Gallagher noticed that the snow was coming down at such a good clip, we couldn't keep it clear. Anybody have a leaf blower? And I did. So I told him I'm not too far away from the house. So I shot back to my residence and grabbed my own.
That's interesting information that I missed initially. Sean Goode went home to obtain his leaf blower, and that's what they used on the scene. But despite failing to investigate the entire crime scene, what they did do is walk constantly from the street to where John O'Keefe's body was, and in fact they even used a leaf blower to get rid of the snow. And the one thing they never found was one single piece of taillight, and that is critical because we know no taillight was found until Karen Reed's SUV was in possession of the Massachusetts State Troopers, and it was at the Canton Police Station.
Once you arrived back in the area of 34 Fairview Road, what, if anything, happened then?
I started it up for Lieutenant Gallagher. He took it over, and it worked great.
Sean Goode testifying that the leaf blower worked great goes to his ego. Because everybody was making fun of them for using a leaf blower, disturbing a crime scene, he had to justify the use of it in court. However, that helps Karen tremendously. Had they simply roped off the crime scene and never touched it, we potentially could have missed the fact that taillight was planted. But thank goodness that these guys were walking up and down, shoveling it, blowing it all over with a leaf blower. They found little drops of blood, but the one thing they never found was one piece of taillight, and that is critical to this case. So for that, Sean Goode, I do thank you. But no matter what happens today, we will never ever stop producing these videos until the real killer,
Brian Higgins,
is brought to justice.
What kind of relationship? A buddy-buddy relationship?
the same thing everybody wants, a real relationship.
A romantic relationship, Mr. Higgins?
It's possible.
Right.
I kissed gay Jeff. The same thing everybody wants, a real relationship. It's possible. Sending somebody flowers?